Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having an amazing day. If you're new here, I'm Katie, and on this channel we dive into all things manifestation, conscious creation, and helping you step into your power so that you can create the reality of your dreams on purpose. So welcome in. I'm so glad you're here. In today's video, I wanted to expand on something I talked about in my previous video where I was giving my two-step process for manifestation. And something occurred to me as I was recording that video, and I wanted to just address it here for those of you who might be experiencing it. And this is what to do on the days where it might feel more difficult to connect with the feeling of your desired reality or of your desired manifestation. So, like I said in that previous video, my two steps to manifestation are first, finding the feeling of your desired manifestation or your desired reality. And then two, practicing that feeling until it becomes your norm. So, like I said, if you haven't watched it, definitely go back and watch it. I'm going to link it above for you to go check it out. But I wanted to address this idea of like, okay, if you're in the process of this two-step manifestation process, right? You're doing the things and you wake up one day and you're just something's off. You can't connect with it. It feels like you're kind of going into maybe old patterns. You're starting to feel frustrated or sad that it's not here yet, or starting to maybe ask yourself, am I doing something wrong? And why isn't it working? And all this stuff. Here's how to deal with those moments, because let's be honest, right? Like those moments sometimes happen. It's not always perfect, and that's okay. It's like that saying where how like that like graph that you sometimes see where manifestation isn't just a straight shot upward all the time. It's like this process, right? Where we have peaks and then we might go down a little bit and then we peak up and then we might go down a little bit. And then eventually we peak up so high that we just stay there and it eventually just becomes our norm. But like in the process of getting there, sometimes there's these peaks and valleys until it starts to stabilize. And there's nothing wrong with that. So first thing I want to say is if this is happening, there's nothing wrong. You're not doing anything wrong. You're not on the wrong path. You're not somehow messing it up. Okay. So this is just a clear, like, permission slip. Don't be so hard on yourself. Okay. And here's how I want you to start to work through those moments or those days when they come up. And the first thing is having awareness. So in the moment, it might feel challenging to have the awareness, but after watching this video, watch what happens. Come back and comment when this happens for you. But you even just being exposed to this information is going to help to kind of go into your subconscious mind and program it a little bit so that when you're having these moments, when you're having these days, you're going to remember and be like, oh, wait a minute. I need to become aware of this. It's just going to happen now because you're here with this information and it's going to spark that within you. So let's say you're having a day where you just wake up and it's like you just feel off. Maybe you didn't sleep well. Maybe you ate something that didn't agree with you yesterday. Maybe you and your partner weren't so kind to each other the day before and it's not sitting with you well. Whatever it is, you're already off to maybe a not so good place, right? And then you sit there and you try to do your manifestation practice and you can't get into the meditation. You can't get into the journaling. You're just having a hard time connecting with it. And the first thing that you can do is the second that you realize what's happening is just to pause and have a moment of awareness. This is the first thing to do. And often this is the most impactful and important thing to do, because the second that you bring awareness to it is the second that you are no longer becoming it. So what happens is a lot of the times when we're in these patterns or in these thoughts and we're not aware of it, we're just in it. We're just in it. We're just in it. We're just in it. And it's like, that's who we are. That's what we're becoming. We're taking on that energy and we've now become the energy of whatever it is, the doubt, the fear, the frustration, the sadness, the whatever it is, right? So the second that you realize what's happening and you pause and you just have a moment of awareness is the second that you distance yourself. You create a gap of separation between you and all those thoughts and feelings and emotions and that whole train that you're about to get on, and you just pause. Me personally, I like to just breathe. I like to just stop the thought and just breathe for just a couple seconds. I just say, okay, we're just going to breathe. Because everything in you might be fighting to keep all those thoughts going, right? Like it can be strong. Like we want to hold on to that anger. We want to like really go down the rabbit hole of the frustration. We want to really dig into like why it's not working and why everything's gone wrong for us and why all of a sudden this morning has sent us into a tailspin, right? Like just breathe. Just tell yourself to breathe, right? Because this happens to all of us and there's nothing wrong. You're not doing it wrong. You're not on the wrong track. You're not somehow it works for everyone else and not me. No, 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 no. We're not going there. That's not it. So you just create some awareness. And then what I like to do and what I always recommend is then you're just going to have a little dialogue with yourself where just in your head, you're going to start talking to yourself through it. Okay. This is okay. Like this is the inner dialogue I want you to start having with yourself. Okay. I see what's happening here. I see what this is. Everything that I know about manifestation and all this stuff, I get it. I get it. These are just thoughts. These are just old patterns. This is just coming up today, maybe because of this, this, and this. And it's all okay. There's nothing wrong here. I don't need to fix any of it. I don't need to get rid of any of it. None of it's bad. It's okay. All right. So you're just going to like talk yourself through it. You're just going to bring even more awareness to it. You could identify it. Okay. I notice that these are the feelings I'm having. I notice these are the thoughts that are coming up. I can see that this is starting to spiral. I can feel, and you can start to name, what does it feel like in your body? I can feel that like I'm starting to feel like my breath is like getting faster and faster. I'm starting to feel my heart beating faster. I'm starting to feel like just like tense and tight. Okay. Okay. So you've named it. You've created even more separation from it. You're recognizing it for what it is. And then this really key piece that I mentioned of it's not wrong. Let yourself know this is not wrong. This is not bad. And here's the most, I think the most important part is I don't need to change this. There's nothing here that's wrong or bad or that needs to be changed. I don't have to fix this. I don't have to make this go away. Because here's the trick. Here's kind of the little trick. You are actually fixing it. Not that anything needs to be fixed, but you are resolving it simply by having this awareness and creating this space. That is going to resolve it. But in those moments, I think sometimes it's our tendency to, because then what can happen is here we were in a pattern, we were in a negative place, we weren't able to connect with our feeling. Now we're frustrated. Now we're having this moment of awareness. And if we're not careful, what can then happen is, great, why did I do this? Why was I in this thought this morning? Now I'm sabotaging my manifestations. I should have known better than to do this. How come I'm not better at this? And then all of a sudden, you're in what I call like a side loop where like you were originally in this loop because you woke up, you didn't feel well, you couldn't connect with your feeling, you started to have negative thoughts, and then you started to create a little awareness. But before it could really catch on, you went into another little side loop over here that's like, now you've compounded it. And it's like, okay, whoa. That's why it's important to have these conversations with yourself where you're like, this is okay. I don't need to do anything about this. I don't need to fix this. This isn't wrong. This isn't going against my manifestation. This isn't sabotaging me. This isn't making anything wrong. And just continue to breathe. Okay. So the first thing is just awareness and continue to breathe. And the second thing is then just stop. Don't try to do your meditation then. Don't try to do your journaling then. Don't try to force your affirmations then, because guess what? It's not, at that moment, you're not likely in the place where you're going to really be able to tap into the feeling, right? And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with this. It's not like a bad thing. But so then what I would recommend is just getting up and going to the next thing in your day. Okay, what's the next thing? Maybe you'd get in the shower. Maybe you'd make a cup of tea. Maybe you would go outside and take a walk. Whatever it is, just go on to the next thing, okay? Or if you can be more flexible with your schedule, I would make sure to pick something that you do like. So let's say you typically, um, maybe you really love to take a walk in the morning, but normally you wouldn't do that until later. It's like, okay, nope, we're going to take the walk now. We're going to take the walk now because we really love the walk. And then you just give yourself permission to set this all aside. We're going to come back to it when we feel good and go do something that you enjoy, or just move on to the next thing. Let this go for now, okay? Because this is going to be really powerful. It's just giving yourself permission to let it go. And then the third step is just wait and see, because the more that you allow yourself to just move on with your day and start doing things that do feel good, and start maybe meeting up with people you like, or having conversations, or maybe you're working and you're in your job and you start kind of working on something that you like, before you know it, you're eventually going to be back into a place where you do feel good. And then you can come back to these practices. Then you could go into your visualization. Then you could do your meditation. Then you could do your journaling. But don't try to force it in the moment where it's not working, and don't make it wrong. So later on that day, you could try it again. And let's say, for example, you really don't feel that good the whole rest of the day. Okay, you know what? Take the whole day off from it. Don't go back to your practices. Wait until you go to bed that night. Maybe you really do something you love. You have a warm bath, or maybe you're the opposite. You like a cold shower, or, you watch your favorite movie that really makes you feel really good. Just focus on things that make you feel good. And then so when you go to bed that night and you wake up the next morning, it's a new start. It's a new day and you get to start fresh. Don't try to force it on the days where it doesn't feel good, because what will happen is it will actually work against what you're trying to manifest, because it's like that energy of force and stress and pressure is now going to be like mixed into what you're trying to manifest, and you don't want that. So what's the best thing you can do is just get yourself into the best feeling state that you can muster up on that day. And if you get to a point where you do feel good and you want to do your practices, do them. But if you never really get there, then don't worry about it. Don't try to force it. Don't try to make it happen. The best thing you can do is just allow yourself, because here's the other little trick that's going on. The version of you that's in your desired reality, do they force themselves to do things they don't like? Do they make themselves feel all kinds of pressure when things aren't going right? Do they beat up on themselves because they didn't do something when they should have? My guess is no, right? Or else it wouldn't be your desired reality. My guess is that version of you really loves themselves and really is gentle with themselves and really does the things that they love and all this type of stuff, right? And so even though you're not doing a specific practice, the trick is the fact that you're giving yourself permission and loving yourself through this moment by not trying to force something, and you're accepting yourself through this moment and you're letting it go and you're just moving on through your day, you actually are still connecting with your desired energy. You're just not doing it in the way that you think you're supposed to. You're doing it indirectly through the way that you're responding to the situation. And the really important thing here is this is probably different than how you would have responded to things in the past, right? Like if something wasn't working for you, or you felt like it wasn't working for you, you might have had a totally different reaction, and it might have felt really bad, right? And so what's happening is you're like breaking up that pattern and now having a totally different reaction. And so you're teaching yourself, this is how we now respond to this. This is how it now feels for us. And it is like almost like you're teaching yourself as if you were a kid. Like you're reworking these old patterns and programs. You're rewiring things from within. These are deep things that we're often rewiring. These are things that go back to childhood and how we were maybe disciplined as kids, or what happened when we thought we were bad or wrong. And we often talk to ourselves or treat ourselves the way that we were treated in those scenarios. And not to say, our parents did such horrible jobs, but, sometimes it's not necessarily the things that now from our own consciousness level that we would choose, or how we would talk to ourselves. And so this is where you get to decide, okay, in this moment where I'm not feeling like myself and I'm not having this day where I can really tune into it, how am I going to respond? Am I going to punish myself and get frustrated with myself and go into all these feelings? Because That's you just perpetuating the old. Or am I going to choose to love myself and accept myself and say, you know what, this is okay. I'm going to walk away from this. I'm going to move on. I'm going to do something I enjoy. Maybe you love baking. So, you know what, I'm going to get in the kitchen. I'm going to bake myself something that I wouldn't normally bake today. I'm going to make myself like these really fluffy pancakes, or like have like a really amazing breakfast, or I'm going to make myself a lunch so that later I have like this amazing lunch and I have that to look forward to. It's like, do something nice for yourself. Do something you enjoy and just move on. And then, like I said, you can always come back to it later or not. But the mere fact that you're responding differently is actually you still connecting with the energy of your desired reality, because you're not embodying the frustration. You're not going into the annoyance. You're not treating yourself poorly. You're treating yourself with love and kindness, which is in alignment most likely with your desired reality. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments below. Did this make sense? Do you get it? Do you feel like this is going to be helpful to you on the days where things just feel a little bit off? And I'll tell you guys, the reason I'm able to record this video and give you guys such like detail is because I woke up in a funk this morning and I thought to myself, you know what? I am going to move through this. And when I feel good, I'm going to go and record videos on this. So it's crazy because this morning I woke up in a funk, real funk, and I just let it go. I just let it go. I just let it go. I just moved on with my day. And little by little, the day just got better and better. And I just started feeling better. And then all of a sudden I was like, you know what? I want to go record videos because I'm feeling so good now, because I didn't try to force myself to fix it. I didn't make it wrong. I didn't make it bad. I didn't make it this like wrong thing. And so because I didn't make all this attachment around it and make it so bad, I was able to move through it, but not by doing anything. That's the purpose. It was just by having the awareness and just letting it go and moving on with my day and doing things that I enjoyed. So I spent today, the earlier part of today, just doing some things that I enjoyed, having some fun. And then when I was done with that, I was like, oh, you know what? I'm feeling really good. I want to go record these videos. And I really believe that, you know, I often say this in my membership calls and stuff like this. But like when there's a certain thing that I'm going through, I'm like, I'm going through this so that I can talk about it, so that I can share about it, so that I can give information on how to move through this. And so I often look at it like that as well. It's like, okay, this is really helpful that I'm feeling this right now. Like as I'm having that moment of awareness, I'm like, okay, this is really good. Let me observe myself today to see how I handle this, to see how I move through this, and to see what happens. Then I can share about this. So anyways, I hope this helped. Leave your comments and questions down below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. And if you're interested in working with me further, you can see all the links down below where I've got links to work with me one-on-one in a single session, a package of sessions. There's also the link to apply to my higher level one-on-one coaching where we work together for longer periods of time. There's all sorts of extra stuff added in that kind of take it to that next level. And then there's also the link to my 14-day free trial of the membership, which is my monthly subscription platform where we basically do everything we do on this channel, but just like elevated. Like there's more, there's live calls, there's a living library of content, there's a community group forum, there's all sorts of stuff. So you can check that out if you're interested. All right. Other than that, I'm going to leave you guys here. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.